And now, on Radio Horrible History, part 26 of our epic series, The Story of a Georgian Legend. I'm sorry, I'll read that again. The Story of a Georgian Legend.
Throughout the reign of good King George.
Which one?
Well, I'm not really sure. I just think there might have been 4 of them.
Call yourself an historian.
Well, I'm not really a historian. I'm just an actor with a thrilling voice. I'm just reading what's on the page in front of me, so if you don't mind.
As you were. Carry on. Don't mind me. I'm just the listener.
Thank you.
I just pay my licence fees and your wages.
Throughout the reign of good King George, there have been many famous villains. Throughout the infamous outlaw Rob Roy.
I knew I was Scottish.
The very infamous pirate Edward Teach or Blackbeard.
Shiver me timber, Arjun lad.
And none more totally infamous than a highwayman Dick Turpin.
Stand and deliver your money or your life.
And let's go back in time with our roving reporter Roger. Roger, you're our roving reporter and you've gone back in time. What can you tell us about Dick Turpin?
Thank you, boring historian in the studio. I'm Roger the roving reporter, reporting to you from 1712. And it's pretty grim too, although a bag of chips is pretty cheap. I'd hoped to speak to Dick Turpin in person, but unfortunately they just hung him. Hunged him. He's dead. However, I have here a lady who says she'd had her jaw rifled through by Mr. Turpin on more than one occasion. So tell me, Mrs. Obidia.
That's Ms. Obidia to you?
Tell me, Mzo, what was he like?
Well, he was a brave and handsome hero. He was wonderful on a horse.
Really?
Oh, yes. And he was so polite. Always, please, can I have your purse? And if you'd be so good as to hand over your jewellery. And he never snatched and always said, thank you, my lady. Oh, and he had such lovely, soft hands.
Well, there's one view, although I've been chatting to some of the locals, and according to them, Dick started out as part of a gang of violent housebreakers who used to rob and torture their victims until they revealed the whereabouts of their valuables.
Well, he was always gentle to me. Always warmed his hands before helping himself.
And thank you, Mrs. O. Well, I'd hoped to interview some of his old friends from his early robbing days, but apparently he turned them all in return for his freedom. And it was at this point he launched his solo career, and he's developed his catchphrase, which was to give pleasure to millions.
Stand and deliver your money or your life.
And so it's back to you, boring historian in the studio.
Thank you, Roger. And that's about all time we have for this week. Next week we'll be going back in history and asking Adolf Hitler's mother if he really was such a naughty boy, or just misunderstood.
And now for Radio Horrible History's charity appeal. Jonathan Swift, the one and author of Gulliver's Travels, makes an appeal for any spare babies you may need to help feed the starving Irish.
Good afternoon. I've been told that a young healthy child of a year old is the most delicious, nourishing and wholesome food, whether it is stewed, toasted, baked or boiled. I humbly suggest that 100,000 infants may be offered for sale to rich people in the kingdom.
Save the babies!
The mother should try to make sure that they are plump and fat and good for the table.
Oh, Swifty, you wanna watch what you say? You're gonna get yourself in serious trouble. Capiche?
Nonsense! I'm merely highlighting a real problem that exists in Ireland through the use of my lightning satirical wit.
Satirical with my armpit? You want to eat babies?
No, I think you're missing the point.
Let's get him, boys!
And I think that's about it from Radio Horrible Histories this week. Next week we'll be bringing you